We're now going to look at some of the tactics that your ex might use. So we've identified the level of severity. So we've been able to predict sort of where the court process itself will go. But now let's look at the specific tactics that they are going to use. So delay tactics, such as they'll say that they haven't received notifications. They might say that they're ill on the day. They might ask for a reschedule for whatever reason. They hide information, particularly financial information. They'll refuse mediation. They won't show up. They'll send in their statements late, even past the deadline, and that gives you less time to prepare. Obviously, they don't know that you've got Get Caught Ready. Many allegations will be made in the middle of proceedings because, as I said before, that just delays everything while they're investigated. They'll turn up with an entourage, play the victim, particularly covert abusers. They'll change their lawyer or solicitor midway through, so then ask for more time for their party to get up to date. They'll breach their orders. They'll argue over the terms of the court order. They'll interpret it one way, you'll interpret it another. So just again, to be argumentative, they'll turn the children against you, and that will lead to alienation. It's really important that you know these tactics because you've got to be prepared for what's coming. What that does is it limits the emotional impact on you. And also it prevents you from reacting. They're trying to bait you into a reaction. And when you do, it feeds into their narrative. So for example, if you know that your ex is a blamer, as per the description that we went through, you won't be surprised and angry when they make a false allegation in the middle of the hearing. You'll know that it's coming. You'll be able to calmly say to yourself, I knew that they were going to pull something like this. Not only does that lessen the impact on you, but more importantly, it infuriates the abuser because they hate the fact that you are no longer under their control. So some other areas that they will, some other behaviours, that they will exhibit are recruiting flying monkeys and starting smear campaigns. So for those of you that aren't familiar with these terms, flying monkeys are basically from Wizard of Oz, but it's anyone that goes on spreading their lies on their behalf or coming in and spying on you, getting information for your ex. The smear campaign is basically spreading your name through the mud amongst anyone and everyone who'll listen. These can be really hard to not react to because our natural reaction is to defend ourselves when we hear people telling lies about us. But if you defend yourself, people can think that you look like the crazy one. So let me give you an example. So your ex has told everyone that you're an alcoholic, for example. And you hear it and you go up to someone in the schoolyard or, in your local shop, and because you've heard it, and say, look, I just want you to know I am not an alcoholic. It's not me with the drink problem. It's them with the drink problem. And they aren't really sure. They're a bit taken aback because, they've heard all of this information. The fact that you've gone up to them and you might be really pleading your case going, you need to believe me. I need you to believe me that I'm not an alcoholic because you're anxious, you're stressed out, you're really hurt by this. It's not going to take much for them to think that X plus Y equals Z and that you are an alcoholic. And so don't respond to them. If it's anyone that matters, then they should know who you are and they shouldn't believe them. If they believe them, more fool them because they'll get spat out by the person in the long run. Blame, obviously, everything will be your fault and they will be faultless. Retaliation, so particularly if you are doing well in something or if people are liking you or something has gone your way and it hasn't gone theirs, you'll get on the receiving end of some nastiness, some rage. Emotional outbursts. So this will be mainly for women, it's more tears, emotional very emotionally seductive, really playing that damsel in distress role. For men, it can be more aggressive than that. So it does depend upon what we're going to look at next. And the psychology that we looked at is what is their underlying weakness. So that will depend on how they emotionally express themselves, but it will be at you. Lies and projection. So lies in general, lies about you, lies about situations that have happened. Truths will become exaggerated. What they often do is they'll have one truth, 10 lies, but because there's that one truth in it, it almost permeates into the lie. So people aren't quite sure what is truth and what is lie, because there's one thing that they can evidence, and they kind of take it then on the weight of probability that the rest must be a truth because there's that one truth in it. Projection is about them, what they've done, but projecting it onto you. Splitting is black and white. We've covered that. So all good and all bad. And creating a false narrative. So the false narrative will be what we're going to come to next.